It was the morning of May 19th, 2016, when Logan Drew Schiendelman had an epiphany. According to his grandmother, he received some kind of insight that would help him to improve himself. Everything would change for Logan, and he would be a new man. He had a realization and plans, big plans. But Logan was never seen again. My name is John.
And I'm Brienne.
And we're the hosts of the new true crime show, What Happened To? A show where we discuss missing person cases and the theories surrounding them that hold hidden secrets.
Today, we're going to discuss Logan's disappearance and everything that makes it so incredibly suspicious. Logan is still missing to this day.
Before Logan was ever reported as missing, the police received phone calls about his car, and they weren't good. He left his home where he lived with his grandmother, and before long, police received reports that his 1996 Chrysler Sebring was swerving across multiple lanes on Interstate 5 heading towards Rochester. Police expected to find a drunk driver, but what they found was even more mysterious. Logan's car crashed into the median, stopping on the shoulder at milepost 92.
The reports received by police described a strange man jumping out of the vehicle. He didn't sound like Logan, and he ran right into the woods, fleeing the scene of the crash. So, yeah, that's probably fine. One driver even claimed that there was no driver at all and that the strange man was a passenger instead, but that didn't really add up. Inside the car, the evidence told a really different story. They found Logan's wallet in the car, including the cash that he had inside, cash that obviously hadn't been stolen. On top of the center console, they found snacks, but the positioning of the snacks told a very interesting story. The snacks weren't knocked over.
And that meant whatever person seen fleeing from the vehicle hadn't climbed over the passenger seat. He was driving. Logan's family had a little help navigating his disappearance. His uncle, a retired Thurston County sheriff, oversaw the entire search to make sure that Logan was found. He rounded up a search party and then combed through the area. They searched by foot and they searched by aircraft. But for Logan, there wasn't much that they could do. His uncle continued to push, calling on his peers to bring the missing boy home.
But in the end, nothing was found. As more time passed, witnesses came forward, and that's where things get pretty confusing. In general, witnesses are known to be hit or miss. In psychology, we know that witnesses are easily misled and very unreliable. The truth is that something could happen right in front of you, and you would still give the wrong answers when police asked questions. It's really just the way that the human mind works. Witnesses claimed that they saw a man who resembled Logan outside of his car at Interstate 95 that morning. But he wasn't alone. Witnesses described the men as being over 6 feet tall. One was even wearing clothes that seemed too small for him.
This news was an obvious point of concern. Let's explore why. Logan was 19 years old when he disappeared. He was born to a biracial mother. She was half black and half white. Logan's father was Saudi, but that was a complicated story. His father was no longer in the picture. He got Logan's mom pregnant on a business trip to the United States, and he wasn't seen again. Committed to improving the life of her children, Logan's mom left Logan and his half-sister with their grandma while she went to art school in Seattle.
Logan's grandmother didn't approve of this decision. She expected Logan's mother to be home with her kids and actually resented the fact that Logan kept in touch with his mother at all. If you think about it, it's a pretty touchy situation. Logan's mother left her kids with their grandmother, and that isn't easy on a person, especially when you're the one who's been left with the kids. But Logan's mother wanted to improve her life, and she thought that this would make it work.
But Logan wasn't an ordinary kid. Talented in academics and athletics, Logan was a model student. He was also a talented defensive back, and to this day, he holds records at his high school for his performance on the field. But something weird happened.
Logan was incredibly talented, and he was excelling in different ways in his life. So, what made him drop out of his college program at Washington State University and move back home during his sophomore year? Did he miss his grandmother? His half-sister?
Or did he have trouble making friends in his new environment? Family described Logan as a, quote, quiet, sensitive young man, end quote, and they noted that he was becoming more withdrawn throughout the years, especially as he spent time in college. One of his friends even told reporters that Logan had stopped responding to messages entirely. He would read them, but he wouldn't reply.
And then there was the marijuana. Now, I know that I'm a new host for some of you, but I do live in Colorado. We proudly voted to legalize cannabis in 2012, and we have not looked back since. But it still acts as a point of concern for a lot of people, especially when you're the kind of person who can't regulate your usage and you're prone to paranoia, something that can be exacerbated when someone struggles from mental illness. His friends and family thought that he wasn't living up to his fullest potential, and that really bothered them. He dropped out of college and worked menial jobs at the local laundromat. Sometimes he also worked manual labor jobs on a family member's farm.
His grandmother said, quote, he was kind of at a loss with what he was going to do with his life, end quote. And then there was the incident. His grandmother claimed that Logan had an identity crisis, that he was suddenly questioning his place in society. According to her, it had something to do with his skin color and race. At some point, Logan became self-conscious about his own background. He was mixed, and he didn't know where he fell in the world. After high school, Logan actually cut ties with everyone close to him. He dropped his friends and his football teammates, and it was all for one reason.
Racism. Something happened with Logan that made him want to separate himself from his friends and those close to him. He actually began to question his race and its implications. And then, he seemed to snap.
Now, we don't know if he received too many racist remarks or just wanted to distance himself because of the actions of those around him. But it seems like Logan wanted that space. He broke things off completely, and we still don't know if this is the epiphany that he had mentioned to his grandmother. No matter what, Logan didn't consider his friends as friends anymore, and that worried his grandmother.
And then, as if that's not all enough, there was the tension at home. Recently, Logan's half-sister had moved her boyfriend into their grandmother's home, and this was a problem. Logan and this guy didn't get along, so they mostly avoided each other as awkwardly as possible. Police actually believe that there might be a clue here. They questioned the boyfriend as a potential suspect, but he passed a polygraph test and is no longer considered a point of interest.
But his grandmother doesn't blame the boyfriend, and she is completely convinced that she knows what happened to her nephew. Just before college, Logan had visited the other side of his mother's family, and according to Logan's aunt, it was a, quote, emotional visit, end quote. His aunt said upon seeing a picture of his grandfather, Logan said that it was nice to see someone that looked like him.
And of course, there was his Facebook. After Logan disappeared, someone checked in on his Facebook account, and the location was certainly interesting. Following a week of searching for Logan, police learned that his Facebook check-in linked him to Olympia Regional Airport.
Who logged into Logan's Facebook? Was it him?
Unfortunately, it isn't all that simple.
No one knows where Logan is, or if he's dead or alive. Police think he was suffering from a mental illness, but they currently have no theories regarding his whereabouts.
His family still believes that he's alive, and they have hope that he'll return too.
Did Logan escape his life to start a new one?
Did his epiphany tell him that it was time to leave the past behind?
We may never know.
But we can still wonder who the strange man fleeing his vehicle was.
Join us next week for another unexplained disappearance on the next episode of What Happened To.
Thanks, guys.